guys.
It's your man Kil.
And it's Dr. Roz.
Roz is over here looking at my record collection saying she doesn't know who these people are.
I don't. Never heard of Skulls, and I don't know these people.
Skull Snaps.
I don't know that.
Very classic album right here. It's right here. For all the diggers out there, hip hop heads will know, this is the infamous Steezo break. From Steezo It's My Turn, a legendary Paul C, producer out of Queens, New York, was the first to use this break. For Steezo's It's My Turn, went on to be, I called it the Eric Sermon break, because Eric Sermon from EP&D would kill this break, and the break is called It's a New Day. It's classic. You know, maybe in the future I'll take 5 or 10 minutes here and there and play awesome breaks, so to educate Roz, you know, so.
Duly educated, thank you.
Yeah. So, got another question on tap.
I've been married. Last question still got me fired up.
Yeah, I know. I've been married 5 years, and my husband and I have been dealing with a lot of issues, namely his infidelities. He's cheated on me twice since we've been married, and I really want our marriage. I know that sounds crazy because all my family and friends say I should leave him, but my entire family is all divorced, and I don't want to be part of that generational curse. But at the same time, I don't want to be a fool just staying in a dead-end marriage to say, look at me, I made it, but I'm sad and miserable in my marriage. The worst part is my husband refuses to go seek counseling. I don't understand why, but he claims he wants this marriage to work, and he is sorry for what he's done, but how can I get into counseling?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, that's the age-old question of usually the person who does wrong doesn't want to go to counseling.
Yeah, they don't want to face their demons.
Right. So whether it's a man or a woman or whatever, most of the time the person who's done wrong doesn't want to go to counseling. Then two, most men don't want to go to counseling because they feel like it's going to be a man bashing contest. It's going to be all the things that the man isn't doing and everything like that. Whether he cheated or not, we could just be talking about a regular couple who want to go to counseling. It's just always the assumption that, you know, it's going to be what the man has done, the man did this, the man did that, and all that. And who feels like, you know, going to court just to get yelled at? Like, nobody's ever excited to go to court. So I think that that's the thing. And then two, you have a lot of women who I think have never really, you know, been on the counseling boat until something goes wrong in the marriage. Most black folk ain't really into counseling. So let's not act like women don't be out here going to get counseling just on the rag. But then when something happens in a marriage, then it's like, let's go get counseling. So then it's also like, well, wait a second. Why all of a sudden now you are educated and you want to go get counseling now? Like, you've never wanted counseling. I told you to get counseling for your issues before and you ain't want to go, but now that it's my issues, now you want to go. So I think it's just a whole rack of reasons why men don't want to go see counseling. I mean, I think a lot of times men are sorry that they cheated, but at the end of the day, it may be, I don't really feel the need to figure out why I did this. You know, I just did it, you know, forgive me and let's move past it, you know, so.
Well, I see this all the time, where the man doesn't want to be in counseling and the wife wants to be there. And even in my own marriage, when we first got married, Frank and I, we went to counseling, and here's just a little secret on how I got him to accept it, because he was like, we don't need to go see you. You ain't got to go pay nobody to talk about our problems or whatever. But it wasn't about talking about a problem.
Yeah. It costs.
Yeah, it costs. It was about,
that's the next problem.
You know, it was about trying to make sure we were on the right track in terms of this marriage and make sure we were doing things right, since neither one of us had been married before. So I left it up to him to find a therapist. You know, I knew he probably wanted to have a male therapist. So he found a male therapist. He found an older gentleman, and he was really good for us. It worked for us in terms of seeing therapy. So my advice to you is to give him a bit of autonomy in the whole process and make it seem like it's his decision, because you putting it on him makes it seem like makes it appear to just be one more barrier of something he doesn't want to do, or one more burden. So let him have a little bit of autonomy in the process, because at the end of the day,
but he refuses to go. So my thing would be to try to find out, because the way you sound is like somebody who's like, I really don't want to go, kind of, sort of. don't know.
No, he was kind of in a refusal process, but it was like, if you want this marriage to work, this is what has to take place. You say you want this marriage, then you got to show. You got to show what you want. You just talking. I need to see action. I don't listen to talk. I listen to action.
I understand. I'm not even gonna go there.
No, go ahead.
No, because I'm just trying to think of, like, for instance, if somebody refuses something, and you say, like,
oh, well, that's what you do, is that you start going to therapy for yourself, and as you
okay,
grow,
well, there you go.
Yeah,
So
as you grow,
start going for yourself.
Yeah, they get a little curious about what you in there talking about. You talking about me up in there, and they want to know what's going on. You know, and so the more they see you turning, becoming a very different person, then they're going to be more inclined to see what's going on up in there. They want to find out what's going on.
So, I mean, that's a way. But
and that's one thing that you could do.
But I think, you know, with the two-way question is, I kind of gave you the reasons why most men don't want to go to therapy or counseling. And then Roz is now hitting you with the ways to try to make it happen. So, yeah, I would definitely say, you know, go start going by yourself or whatever like that. Because at the end of the day, you know, we can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? So there's no way that I can tell you, oh, well, this is, you threaten them with this, or you give them this ultimatum or anything like that. It's literally, you know, it may just become step up time for you to say, well, if you want this marriage, we got to go see counseling. And if he says, well, I'm not going, then you got to stand behind your words and say, well, I don't want the marriage. Because what you're doing now is you're putting yourself in a situation where you could be right back in the same situation again. You said he already cheated on you twice. So you could be looking at 3 times, you know, or 4 or even more. So at the end of the day, you got to kind of sit down and, like Roz said, go see a counselor by yourself and figure out by yourself, is this marriage something that I want? You know, whenever I make decisions, I think of what's the worst case scenario. So before I would even go to him, like, look, if we don't go to counseling, this marriage is over. I got to know in my heart of hearts already that I'm ready to follow through with that threat. Like, it's just not, you know, what a lot of women do, like we talked about before. Y'all emotional, y'all don't think, y'all just blurt out whatever comes to mind, and that gets y'all in trouble because you like, well, if you don't go to counseling, then this marriage is over. You like, well, I ain't going, and then you still here next year. See, now I know your threats are empty because y'all don't think. Stop being so emotional. Take a minute
and impulsive
and think about it, and make sure that once you say that, you mean it. You know me, I have a battle plan lined up. Like, okay, if you say no, cool. I done looked at some apartments. I done know where the kids can go to school. I done came up with a whole escape plan. And if he says, well, cool, I didn't know it was that serious, and I'll go, cool, you can rip the escape plan up. But you ain't gonna have me behind the 8 ball where you throw me like, oh my God, I really didn't think. And that's what y'all women will do. Y'all be like, oh, I didn't think he was gonna say that. So I'm not prepared for what comes next, you know, and then that's how it's like that. And then for men, we're like, she ain't serious. So whatever threat you throw at them from now on is null and void because, like, she ain't serious. She said that before. She ain't going nowhere, nothing like that. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, and my advice to you too, because I hear that you don't want to get caught up in the whole divorce, you know, issue that's like really going on with your family. Here's what I would say. You can't even worry about them because your marriage is your marriage. You can let them persuade you on how to make decisions. You have to come to those terms and those agreements with your spouse because it's the two of you in the marriage. When you start getting outside opinions from other people, it kind of, you don't want to make a decision that somebody else made for you and then you regret it in the end. So, I mean, it's great to vent to our friends, to our family, or whatnot. It's great to have those moments. But at the end of the day, your friends should respect you enough and your family should respect you enough for you to make your own decision.
And at the end of the day, I hate that when people it's the worst. I've been at meetings where they've actually said, can we take that word out the meeting because it just keeps the meeting going. But to add on to snowball onto what you said, I think it's one of those things that I learned in marriage, and someone gave me this jewel that you come up with maybe 1 or 2 people you talk to. You know what I'm saying? But you can't just be running your mouth to your family. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the bigger picture is
they love you.
Exactly. So you can't run to mama every time talking about he cheated again, he cheated again, he cheated again, because you could keep forgiving this dude.
But
But
they
from
may
the
not.
dude, mama ain't forgiving them.
Yeah.
And now you want to bring them to the family cookout. And you want to bring them to this event.
And they
the
all
family
looking at him at the
straight.
side eye.
So you got to understand, you
Yeah.
just, you know, that's why it says in the Bible, you know, leave your mother and father. It's like you gotta step away, because a lot of this stuff, if you tell your moms everything you and your man go through, and you and your husband, it's almost impossible for her to, like, he said, what to you? He called you a what? Like, it's almost impossible. So, you know, you got to have that 1 or 2 friends of that circle, you know, people who you can trust and, you know, who understand the game and everything like that. See, I understand the game. You know, like, I'll tell my sister and any of my homegirls, like, look, unless the dude put his hands on you, there's really no need to call me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? For the simple fact that he gonna call you some names. I'm sure he will. I'm not gonna get offended by that.
Really?
I mean, because at the end of the day,
I wish somebody would call me a name.
You in the heat of battle.
You still ain't gonna call me.
You ain't
on
never
my
called
name?
Frank no name?
No. We don't play them games.
Well, again,
In the black household, that don't go
this
down.
is Dr. Roz Black. Where there's never been an argument. Where there's
No.
There's never been any yelling.
We get it crunk.
There's never
But
been
you ain't
any.
gonna be calling me no names.
There's never been
We beef.
any cursing. You know, anything like
Some
that.
of that might come out.
Well, I'm saying I know people who get offended by curses. Like, I can't believe you said F me.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't have to always be calling you out
I
of your
can't
name.
deal with all that either. I do get offended by that.
It may be a F you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you know, us Christians, we can act like we don't know how to
Watch
curse
what
no
you
more.
gonna say to me.
But, you know, and at the end of the day, so, you know, I don't get offended by that. If my sister called me, like my husband called me a B, I'm like, okay.
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I wish F Black would let them words come up out his mouth.
what you gonna do? You ain't going nowhere.
I may not go nowhere, but he gonna know I was there.
Oh, he gonna know.
He gonna know.
He gonna know.
He wouldn't even do it though.
What you gonna say back to him?
I
wanna know. I wanna know. What you gonna say back?
He would never do it.
I don't
He
even
would
know.
never call me
Okay,
that.
cool.
He just. And that's not how we argue. And another thing, you've gotta know how you and your partner argue too.
I understand about knowing how you argue, but then I also know about
now when he walk away from me, he might say something like that. But right in his face,
things are when you're not prepared for things that happen. Anybody can say anything. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I agree with
anybody can say anything.
But he would know the repercussions and consequences.
Okay, that's cool. I'm just saying that for me,
Daddy, you know what this food is?
But see, that's the thing. I'm 38. I ain't scared of nobody's daddy. I ain't 16.
You ain't got to be scared of my daddy. My daddy ain't coming to do nothing to you. My daddy's gonna come get his baby girl. How long you want me to go? Yeah, when you need me to be there.
Well, you're right. You're right. I'll agree with that.
When you do that for
no. You have to know the parameters of where you argue and where you go. What I'm saying is this: is that I understand being married 12 years. I see me and T haven't had that. Me and T have had a baby boy type relationship. Our marriage has not always been fully art thou. So there are some baby boy arguments that have going on. So all I'm saying is I don't want her uncle knocking on my door like you told my niece go F her. You know, I don't need nobody knocking on my door.
No, my daddy ain't gonna come say nothing.
And out the respect of that, I gotta understand
be like, you
too.
pack, baby girl, you ready to go?
Because he said F you.
Let me explain something to you. When he asked for my father's hand in marriage,
yes, ma'am.
I don't know what the conversation was, but I know it probably went down something like this.
Tell me how it went down, Dr. Roz.
Because I know my father.
Because you know that.
Because I've heard my father say he has four girls. I've heard him say.
And what he say?
I've lived my life.
Okay.
I don't mind being behind bars for those 4. I've lived a good life. I've heard my father say that. So I know when he had that, when Frank asked him for my hand in marriage,
but
I know my father had some requirement. He never said that to my mother. And my father ain't never said, because I know my mother. I know my mother. He ain't never said that. And
all right, I don't want to because I don't. Wait,
but let me just tell you.
Okay.
I know my father had some requirements.
Okay.
And my mother, when he asked for my hand, I know my parents had requirements.
Okay.
And I know he made that promise to them.
Okay.
And the relationship that he has with my family, I know that he would keep that promise. He would never. Ever.
Not you. But what I'm just saying is that the average person, if I'm out kicking at one of my peoples and we talking and they're like, know.
You is harsh.
But just what I'm saying is,
it's harsh.
And when I tell people, like, yeah, me and Tanya used to argue like that, they're like, oh my God, not Tanya, such the blessed woman, and I don't believe she could curse. And I'm like, oh, trust me.
I can't
So,
no.
I mean, it's not on blast. It's just being real. It's being real. I curse. But what I'm just saying is that at the end of the day, I just think that people, not saying your daddy has ever said this to your mama, but I know enough people who feel like this is never going down in my house because I know my mother. A lot of people know Tanya and they're like, I don't believe that. So just because we think something was never said,
you not hearing me. And see, I've seen them. My father will leave the house if he ever got that upset.
Right, and I understand.
He will go.
But what all I'm saying is there's a percentage that your dad, there's a percentage that the holiest pastor you know in the world has said.
Dolores A.K. ain't never heard it. He may have said it under his breath.
How do you know she ain't heard it? Because you know your mother. Because
my mother and I are friends. I talked to her about my marriage stuff. You know,
I understand.
That's where I get my advice from.
But I understand that. But do you understand that? And when you have kids, you'll understand that as a mother, you don't tell your daughter everything.
No.
Because you know why?
It's different.
You know why? Because you don't want your daughter thinking a different way about your father.
No. It's different. Our relationship is very different now.
But what I'm saying is, if your mom called you right now and said, if you called her right now and said, did daddy ever say F you? And she says yes. Is that going to affect how you look at your father? Is that going to affect the way you look at your father? If she says, yeah, your daddy said that to me, is that going to affect the way you look at your father?
Well, I would have a conversation with my father.
Would it affect the way? Why doesn't she ever just answer the question?
Here's the truth. Here's the truth.
It probably would. It probably would.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because my dad was like, you're not going to respect her.
So since mama knows that, mama ain't going to tell you that.
But wait. Yeah, my mom, we're honest with each other. But wait.
Okay.
But wait. Like, I've had conversations with my father when he's been upset with my mother. We had a very...
I know that
and I know that he's, and I had to tell him, listen, you chose her.
All I'm saying
hold on.
Okay.
You chose her to marry her. You chose her to raise kids with. You got to look at your choices.
Okay. You
got to look at what you chose to do. When me and Frank get to beefing, my favorite line is, dude, you asked me to marry you. You put this thing in motion. You gotta look and see what you wanted.
All I'm saying is that this is
you
why
wanted this.
This is why society is the way it is right now.
Huh.
Because people believe in their heart of hearts that this person could not have done this. I don't put nothing past nobody.
I mean, I
will never sit here and be like, Kendall Kilpatrick, whatever.
But that's the
Pastor Jenkins, Pastor Johnson, Pastor whoever.
That is the
no, it's not the pessimist. It's that you're human. You just got finished saying a couple of things ago that we're all gonna fall short. Nobody is perfect.
But you know your limits. You know your limits and falling short.
I understand you know your limits and fall. I don't know anybody who just said, hey, I want to grow up to be a crackhead. So I really didn't know my limits. I didn't know I could be a crackhead. I didn't know I could be an alcoholic. It just happens. Sometimes things just happen.
Nothing just happens.
Okay.
Kil, you can't be in life thinking that things just happen.
No, what I'm saying is
you have to have more self-control than
that. But you're right. I think a lot of society looks at it like you do. This is why people get upset when governors and mayors cheat. And it's like, oh my God, we have to get him out of office. I don't care if he's cheating. Is he helping the community? Is he raising? I mean, is he hooking us up? Let's so be it. But everybody else is calling for his head. Why? Because we put these people on a pedestal and we've said that this person, whoever fill in the blank, daddy, mommy, pastor, the governor, the alderman, the president, these people would not do this. And I'm just saying, I'm going to put anybody on a pedestal to say this would never have happened. Like this, it just never happened. Just never. It couldn't. It wouldn't. It's impossible. And this is why people get disappointed. This is why. Because and I don't think it's a pessimist attitude. I know
what's gonna take place in my household. That's what I'm saying. I guess you just have to know your household.
I just didn't know that daddy's gonna come get Frank. If you get him mad and he says F you. No, come get you. Come get you. Yeah. Come get you. I didn't know.
Because I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm still his baby girl.
I know you are.
And if I call my father right now, he'd be like, you want me to drive up there? You want to fly home? What is you want to do? You need to get away. Because at the end of the day, that dude right there, Ron Aker, cares about this one right here.
I know he does.
Unconditionally. And I don't care if I did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be the same way with Naomi. You just don't realize it yet.
Okay.
But you will be. You'll be the same way with Naomi. When you don't put your all in all blood, sweat, tears in your child.
You know what shocked me once?
Same way.
This was back in the day. And this is like, I think when, did you ever see Dead Presidents?
Yeah, pieces of it. I remember it vaguely.
Did we ever answer Shorty's question?
I think so.
Okay, because we'll go on a tangent. So that's why men don't want to get counseling. Go get counseling yourself and make up your mind if you're ready to leave a marriage or not. I think those were the answers. Now, back to what I was saying. I was shocked because this is when me and Tanya were just friends. And it actually, I think, started a little argument between her and some other women. When in Dead Presidents, do you remember when Shorty told Anthony, yeah, I'm banging her? And he was like, you know, so is that your baby? And they got all into it, and she went there, and he choked her.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
I was shocked because Tanya was like, she deserved that. She ran her mouth too much.
Tanya said that?
And it got, and a lot of other women, I guess, felt some kind of way. I was shocked because I agreed with Tanya. Let me explain something to you. And this we got to end this because this could go on.
Should be...
I do not, let me first say this. I do not believe in a man or woman putting their hands on each other. I will say, like my man Chris Rock says, nobody is over an ass whipping. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. You say the wrong thing to the wrong person. You know
how many people are going to be like, oh my God.
I know. It's just my opinion. I didn't
Please
say.
Please say for the record, you have never hit Tanya.
No, I've never hit anyone.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that
we couldn't be friends.
Women know how to push certain buttons. And you know what? I've heard great wisdom from women.
True.
One of our people who worked at Lifestars, my homegirl Bridget, who always says needs to mentor. She mentors the young girls. She needs to mentor old girls. But she was saying, she's always telling the young girls, you have to watch how you talk to men.
You do.
Because these little young girls in middle school be running their lips.
They pop up
and Bridget is always teaching them, you gotta watch what you say. These are boys. They are stronger than you. They can hurt you. And that needs to be instilled in women so that women know. It's like Chris Rock said, if you're arguing with another man who you are looking at like this dude is going to throw me up against the wall, there's a certain place where you just don't go. Unless you are ready to get thrown into a wall. And it's the same thing that women have to understand, that there's a certain time that y'all just need to shut the up. And unless you want to get thrown into a wall. Now there are some women who believe I should be able to say anything I want to say, and there are never any consequences. That's not real. That's not real. That sounds great. I hope you can end homelessness and hunger too. But that's not real. Okay? So there's a certain place that y'all just need to be quiet and then be shocked. Again, this goes back to the check engine light. Then you shocked when your head is on the side of the refrigerator. Think about all the things you just said. I'm sure you're one of those women who think you can say whatever you want and there should be no consequences.
I know my limits with my husband.
And
I say what I need to say. We don't argue in that derogatory kind of way. We don't do that.
And the thing is that all I'm saying, I'm not,
because I don't know how to fight.
I'm not saying anybody should hit a woman. I'm not saying any woman should hit a man. I just know that there are women.
I don't believe in provoking.
There are women who that will provoke you under the guise of he ain't gonna do nothing because I know him.
That does take place, and I don't play those games.
And all I'm saying is when you get smacked, it shouldn't be a shock. I'm not saying it's right that he smacked you. I'm not saying that. Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say it's right. I'm just saying 1 + 1 = 2. If it's lightning outside, get out the pool. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's common sense. So if you don't want to get electrocuted, get out the pool.
That's true.
If you don't want to get smacked, you need to learn how to sometimes be quiet. So I'm, just for the record, Kil is not saying smack your woman. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that there are certain places where women just need to stop, and y'all keep going, y'all keep going, y'all keep going, and then you're shocked when he hits you. That's all I'm saying. Then want to call the cops. That's all I'm saying. So hopefully we answered your question. Hopefully we didn't lose too many viewers. Keep coming to see Dr. Roz. Y'all say screw Kil, but keep coming to see her because she agreed with y'all. She did. Yeah, you did. You agreed.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm Dr. Roz.
Till Death Info is your man Kil, Dr. Roz. TillDeathInfo@gmail.com. Keep the questions coming. You see, we love the questions. Keep it locked.
Thanks, guys.